you had been here for so many years and obviously done so much and to help our country and to do so much for our communities too. And then to have this suddenly change, obviously, you know, there was some sort of a mix-up here.
Yeah. No, and it's you know, for me as you know, a student, for me as a resident of the, you know, in the U.S. for 11 years, you know, all of this has been like, you know, an enormous surprise for me.
Is your knowledge based on specific targets, or has this decision been made based on the weight, more the weight of everything that you're looking at?
I think we'll stick with the statements we've made, that intelligence, which is assessed on a regular basis, provides a very sound basis and a responsibility for us to communicate what we believe to be an elevated threat to the American people.
There may be some bumps in the road. That's life. Everything doesn't end like it does in the soaps, you know. I don't actually know how it ends in the soaps because I don't watch it.
My name is Sonny Humphrey. I'm a victim of September 11. We are detainees for the INS.
They just pick people up and just leave them there. They don't even come over here and tell us nothing.
I wish, you know, we can deliver this message to all the public, to all the people.
People have been over here trying to kill themselves because they want to go home. You got guys that just came off the boat and they want to go. I just had to save a guy's life the other day because he tried to kill himself.
I will let everybody know that we are suffering over here. I want to say, please, I'm a father of 7 months. My baby, I don't see my baby yet. So, thank you for everything, and that's it.
Well, today, April 25th, marks the deadline for the 5th wave of special registration. Special registration being a new policy to really round up Arab, Muslim, and Middle Eastern, South Asian immigrants in the U.S. to make sure, kind of like placing a surveillance tag on them. They've put it under the pretense of special registration, something that's going to extend to the entire population of immigrants. But what they're really doing is labeling anybody in this country who is Middle Eastern, Arab, or Muslim as a terrorist.
What's this? Yeah. It's masjid. Whose is it? Allah. Allah. No, but whose is this? Whose was this?
Baba.
Yeah. Grandpa's? My younger 2 children, they're 7 and 5. They don't know that, you know, any of the reasons as to what has happened. I've tried to explain to my oldest one what happened just so, you know, he's going to hear it in school, things like that. I didn't want him to be upset over it. But he can't comprehend the reasoning behind it. I mean, he understands that he was, you know, why he was taken in and things like that, but he doesn't understand what it has to do with us, what it has to do with his father, because he knows his father is innocent. You know, my children hasn't seen their father, and he hasn't seen them, or, you know, us, all of us, haven't been together for 15 months now. And, you know, that's 2 birthdays for each one of them that has passed that he hasn't seen. And I don't know, maybe this will be at one day, you know, it will be an experience that I can, you know, say, okay, well, I've had that experience, now I know how to deal with it. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, though. It's horrible.
By the show of what the major demonstrations have been about, you know, against the war, there were placards that said, "Stop racial profiling, no more detainment of Mideast people." I think people are much more sensitive and more informed at this time.
not just statistics and it's not just numbers, it's actual names and lives that are being affected by this.
There are many Americans who are fed up with all the unrighteous things that America has done.
You know, wars and how these horrible things done by one or two people can destroy millions and millions of lives. I think the statistics are that if one person is killed, at least 10 people are immediately affected by it. You know, all these people who have been detained and deported, 10 more people or maybe even more have been affected by this and their lives have been turned upside down.
We pledge to make common cause with the people of the world to bring about justice, freedom, and peace.
Do you know about Farouk Abdelmouti?
No, I don't think he needs to be free until we know exactly who he is. They gotta stop letting foreigners into the country and letting them do whatever they want to do, and we don't know a thing about who they are, what they're doing. America isn't the same anymore.
As you know, this is a rally demanding the freedom of Farouk Abdelmouti, who was arrested April 26th. Unjustly, we all feel. Since September 11th, the government has been using the incidents of September 11th to justify the imprisonment of thousands of people across the country.
You know, the NYPD intelligence was well aware of Farouk's political activities. The INS devises lists of people who have outstanding deportation orders, particularly people coming from certain ethnic communities. They've said this publicly, and they hand these off to the absconder task forces in certain cities. The task force then makes its own decision who to go after and when to go after.
During the time that he was arrested and taken to 26 Federal Plaza in Manhattan, this FBI agent, who's not supposed to be asking him any sorts of questions about crime or terrorism because that's not his charge, interrogated him severely and beat him, kicked him in the groin, slapped his face, and hit his head. If it were solely for INS reasons, then that would have never happened to him.
My name is Farouk Abdelmouti. I am Palestinian. I come to this country from the 1976 and I have a son, children was an American, born here, his name Tariq. I been detained in 26th of April after my voice was in WBI, Radio Pacifica, to bring the voice of the Palestinian people in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip and the Palestinian refugee camps.
Hundreds of thousands of people across the country heard the broadcasts, you know, broadcasts from Jenin, broadcasts from Nablus, all these different places where all these humanitarian disasters were taking place. People were getting like first-hand information of what was actually happening.
You know, I was with all these groups when we make a big rally after 9/11. With the interfaith, I bring the Muslim speaker, I bring the Christian Arab speakers to be part of this big rally. I believe in peace and justice and equal society in the historical land of Palestine.
He always makes a distinction between legitimate national liberation struggle and terrorism. He doesn't believe in exporting the Palestinians